As a person that deals with beginning instrumentalists, I think the most important thing that you can teach is the correct positioning of the hands on the instrument and also on the face as it relates to the various different mouthpieces and ligatures and reeds and whatnot. And on the brass instruments, this is particularly important because we have no external things that vibrate. It's totally our lips. And the combination of the muscles working to cause this vibration is called the embouchure. And I want to spend a little time discussing the points of the embouchure. The section that the chapter in the Art of Brass Playing by Mr. Farkas is very much in detail about this, and I again urge you to refer to that. But I'll try and give some of the highlights of this on the board. There are two sets of muscles that come into play. One are the big smile muscles, like this, the big wide grin, and the other is sort of the pucker. And it's a combination of these two muscles that work to produce a good solid tightening of the lips so you can have a vibration. Let's draw just a bit on the board some of these muscles. So we have a nice big face here. This is not our class, I hope, so we'll give this guy some eyes and a nose. And down here we'll have a mouth. Well, the mouth is going to look something like this, the lips. And around the lips, where the red and white come together, are two muscles that are joined in the corners. And this muscle we'll call the ring muscle. And the action you want in that muscle is puckering together, sort of like you're going to say the letter P, but don't say it, P. Or like you're at a McDonald's restaurant and you have a straw, a metal straw here, and you're going to drink one of those luscious milkshakes. And so you can feel how that ring muscle sort of grips in together. It's almost like it's going to grip a pencil, or in this case the air column is going to come out here. So that's one set of muscles that must come into play. The other set are very numerous. I'm not even sure how many there are. It's beyond 40, I'm sure, that come down from the nose. And these all attach onto this ring muscle some way or another. They come from the ears down into here. And there's a very important sheet of muscles comes up from here. And these muscles all must come into the pulling away. And the effect you want to have is, as Mr. Farkas calls it, a tug-of-war between the smile muscles, the pucker muscles, and the ring muscles. I mean, between the smiles and the pucker. In fact, he talks about the good embouchure being a puckered smile. So if you have the corners as that line in the tug-of-war where neither team wants to be pulled across, you can have the concept really of the way these two muscles work together. So the higher the pitch you want, the tighter you have to have each set of muscles going to get this tension through here which will vibrate. So you can smile and then pucker and pull against it. And that forms the embouchure. There's a very good exercise you can have your beginning students do, maybe even before they put a mouthpiece to their face. And that's sort of something that comes from the old isometric concept of muscles. I can remember when I was growing up that the thing that the executives were taught to do at their desks were things where they didn't have to move anything but still were getting strength. The most common one was where they would pull against their hands like this, and supposedly this would build up your shoulder muscles and everything. And it's the tension between the two sets of muscles pulling. Well, you can do that also in this situation where you can get a big smile going, hold that smile real firm, and then against the smile, bring in your pucker. And hold the two pulling against each other for 4 or 5 seconds. So let's see if I can show that. So I'll get a big smile first, and then I'll pucker and try and hold the two pulling against each other. So here comes the smile, and then I'll pull against it. And then relax. And I repeat this sort of exercise going in that direction 3 or 4 times, and between each time you sort of relax your face. And then repeat it. Smile, pucker, and hold. And then after a few repetitions that way, you do the opposite. You You do the pucker first, and then the smile, and hold it. What this does, it does two things. First of all, it builds both sets of muscles up. The smile muscles are pretty strong. It's the ring muscles that you're really building. But both of them get some increased strength. The other thing I think is equally important is you learn to feel the two sets of muscles. And you can really feel that ring muscle coming together in sort of a gripping as you prepare to form the embouchure. So that's the basis of the way the muscles work. And I again urge you to read Mr. Farkas's complete detail of this with all sorts of pictures and diagrams, and it's really quite well done. The other thing I'd like to talk about now, which also is part of the physiology involved in the embouchure, is the way the teeth align. Most people, when they close their teeth, have what we call an underbite. That is where the lower teeth sort of fit up in beneath the front teeth. And if you lower the jaw, you're going to find that the back teeth are still not even with the front teeth, so you don't have a sort of an even backboard. And the theory is that in brass playing that you push the jaw out a little bit just to more even that blackboard. So maybe I can draw it on the board here. And then I have to give a warning about this. So we have here upper teeth and the gum, and then the lower teeth sort of fit back in like this. And so when you're going to play, you want to bring these teeth out a little bit so they're more equally aligned with the top lip. It used to be that brass teachers would make a big thing of this, and low brass players in particular would really thrust that low jaw forward. Well, recently I say in the last decade, we've found a great incidence of this TMJ, which is a problem with the joints back here where the jaw, the movable part of the jaw attaches. And somehow by this extreme pushing the jaw forward, some tendons can get broken in there, and it causes real problems. In fact, a lot of very fine brass players have had to stop playing as a result. So this thrusting of the jaw forward needs to be done in very small amount, and also must always be done after a good warm-up. I think it's been found that most of the trouble with the brass players that have this is that they suddenly don't have a time to warm up and have to suddenly do something very heavy. So that's something that you need to be careful of. But I think in horn playing, we haven't seen that too much. But again, you must be careful that it's not thrust all the way up, just a little bit, so you can get a fairly even background with the teeth.